The first sign on a Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi is a tick. Not the loud, obvious knock that makes you pull over on the shoulder. A faint tick at idle that starts when the engine is cold and sometimes disappears once it warms up. Your dealer hears it and says, "Normal Hemi noise." That is what Ram has told dealers to say since 2009. 3 months later, the tick is louder. Then there is a misfire on cylinder 5. Then there is a quote, a repair order sitting on the service counter, $6,000 to $8,000 at an independent shop once the cam is damaged, $10,000 to $13,000 at the dealer. And somewhere in that conversation, you find out Ram has been known about this problem for over 15 years, has never issued a recall, and has never sent you a letter. If you own a Ram 1500 with the 5.7 Hemi, or you are about to buy one used, this video is what that letter should have said. If you caught the last video on what to look for before buying any American truck engine, this one goes deeper on Ram specifically. Before we get into the engine, I want to be clear about something. There are Ram 1500s with 250,000 miles on the original cam and lifters, running clean and quiet. This is not a guaranteed failure. But there is a documented failure pattern from 2009 to 2016 in Ram 1500s sitting in driveways and dealer lots across the country, one that has hit enough owners hard enough, at low enough mileage, that it belongs in every Ram owner's risk calculation before 60,000 miles, not after. At the end of this video, I am going to break down exactly what to do based on where you are right now, whether you are already hearing something, whether you own one with no symptoms yet, or whether you are looking at buying one used. But first, here is what is actually happening inside that engine. The 5.7 Hemi redesigned in 2009, Ram calls it the Eagle Hemi, has a camshaft running the length of the engine block, roughly the diameter of a thick hiking pole, surrounded by 16 lifters. Each lifter is a cylindrical steel housing about the size of a large lip balm tube, and inside that housing is a tiny roller bearing, a needle bearing barely wider than a match head, that rolls across the camshaft lobe every time a valve opens. That bearing is the failure point. Here is why. A steel casting in the engine block shrouds the camshaft, blocking the crankshaft splash lubrication that reaches it in most V8 designs. Ram also programmed a lower idle speed for fuel economy. At highway speed, oil slings off the crank and reaches those needle bearings. At a long stoplight, sitting in a drive-through, or idling in your driveway warming up on a cold morning, those bearings are running on far less lubrication than they were designed to sustain over 100,000 miles. Eventually, a needle bearing seizes. When a lifter roller locks up instead of rolling, it begins grinding against the camshaft lobe instead of rolling across it. The camshaft lobe, originally machined to a precise curved profile, wipes flat. The engine misfires on cylinder 5, and then you are sitting across from a service advisor reading you numbers. A 2012 Ram 1500 owner in Texas documented his repair on the Ram owner forums. 124,000 miles. Oil changed on schedule. He paid $3,500 to have the cam and lifters replaced at an independent shop, including a non-MDS cam and updated needle-bearing lifters. No official repair document from Ram existed telling his mechanic how to address it permanently. That is because one does not exist. General Motors published an official repair bulletin, a technical document distributed to every General Motors dealership, covering its lifter failures, giving dealers a procedure and covered parts, and an official acknowledgement that the problem existed. Ram has issued nothing equivalent for the 5.7 Hemi cam and lifter failure. Their position, if you call the customer service line, remains that ticking is a normal characteristic of the Hemi engine. What I cannot get past is this. A tuner device, a small module that plugs into the truck engine computer, can disable the MDS cylinder deactivation system on the 5.7, not range technology, which is for General Motors only. The correct options for Ram are tuners like Diablo Sport, HP tuners, or superchips, all of which reprogram the PCM to keep all 8 cylinders firing all the time. That system contributes to lubrication starvation, and they know the mitigation exists. They have not built it into the truck from the factory. If you are hearing any kind of tick on your Ram 1500 right now, I want to know. Drop your year, your mileage, and what the dealer told you when you brought it in. That pattern across model years matters. Here is the cost reality without any ambiguity. Catch the tick on your Ram 1500 before a misfire code appears on the dashboard, and you may only need to replace the lifters. That costs $3,500 to $5,000 at an independent shop, depending on your market. Once the misfire code arrives, the cam lobe is almost certainly damaged, and both the cam and the lifters must be replaced. That costs $6,000 to $8,000 at an independent Mopar specialist. At a Ram dealership, recent owner reports show $13,000. Not $8,000, $13,000. The gap is the labor rate. Dealers in most metro areas bill $120 to $140 per hour. An independent specialist bills $70 to $90 per hour. The job takes the same number of hours. In 2017, Ram quietly redesigned the needle bearings inside those lifters, increasing the diameter of the roller bearing that sits inside each lifter housing. It was a real design change that reduced but did not eliminate the failure risk. Trucks from 2017 onward are in a lower risk category. Trucks from 2009 through 2016 carry the highest documented failure rate. If your truck is in that window and you have not yet had this conversation, have it before 60,000 miles. The second failure mode that most Ram owners do not find out about until the repair quote arrives is the exhaust manifold bolts. The 5.7 Hemi uses aluminum cylinder heads and cast iron exhaust manifolds, two metals that expand and contract at different rates every time the engine heats up and cools down. Over time, that thermal stress shears the bolts. Ram issued Technical Service Bulletin 0901-122, an internal repair document sent to dealerships covering this failure, but there was never a recall. The difference matters financially. Under the 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on trucks built before 2016, the repair is on Ram's bill. Trucks from 2016 and newer drop to 5 years and 60,000 miles. Outside those windows, you are paying typically $400 to $1,500, depending on whether the bolts come out clean or whether they are broken flush in the head. They frequently break flush in the head on higher mileage trucks. The symptom is a tick at cold start that fades as the engine warms up. It is different from the lifter tick. It requires a different repair, and it carries a different cost. The third area is the transmission. The 8-speed automatic Ram, introduced in 2013, is a ZF unit, the same transmission found in BMW, Bentley, and Rolls-Royce. It is roughly the size of a carry-on bag, bolted directly behind the engine. It is excellent hardware when maintained properly. Ram's owner's manual describes the factory transmission fluid as a lifetime fill, which on its face means no change required for the life of the vehicle. ZF, the company that engineers and builds the transmission, recommends a fluid and filter service every 60,000 miles, or 8 years, whichever comes first. What lifetime means in Ram's language is that the fluid will perform acceptably within the warranty period. It does not mean the life of the truck. I'll be honest with you, this is the part that bothers me most about how Ram communicates with owners. The cam and lifter situation is a design problem they have not acknowledged. The exhaust manifold bolts are a manufacturing problem they addressed only within warranty windows. The transmission fluid claim, and I know this sounds like a small thing, is a marketing decision that directly contradicts the recommendation of the company whose transmission Ram is selling you. A fluid change runs $250 to $350 at an independent shop if they drop the pan and replace the filter. A rebuild conversation starts at $4,000. The fluid to use is ZF Lifeguard 8, not generic transmission fluid, not whatever the dealer stocks as a default. The fourth item is the transfer case on any four-wheel drive 1500. Ram's owner's manual lists a fluid inspection interval, but it does not give a firm change interval for normal use. Independent mechanics and the Ram forum community recommend changing it every 30 to 60,000 miles. Neglected transfer case fluid leads to internal wear in a unit that costs $2,500 to $8,000 to rebuild or replace. The fluid change itself costs $30 to $90 in parts if you do it yourself, and under $200 at a shop. That cost difference is not close. Actually, it is not even in the same conversation. If you own a Ram 1500 with the 5.7 and you are hearing any tick that did not exist 6 months ago, do not let a dealer dismiss it as normal Hemi noise. Get a second opinion from an independent Mopar specialist before any repair order is written. If it is an exhaust manifold bolt issue and you are within your powertrain warranty window, confirm your coverage in writing before the dealer touches anything. If it is a lifter tick, ask specifically about updated needle bearing lifters and a cam that is not MDS. That is the repair that closes the failure window, not reinstalling stock parts. If you own one with no current symptoms, before 60,000 miles, change the ZF transmission fluid and filter to ZF Lifeguard 8. Change the transfer case fluid and start listening for an exhaust tick on cold start. Low idle oil pressure is the enemy of those needle bearings, so avoid extended idling when you can. If you are in the 2009 through 2016 window, that is your highest risk period. Most people won't say this directly, but if you are looking at buying a used Ram 1500 right now, the minimum due diligence before you sign anything is a cold start video of that engine running at idle, a compression test on cylinder 5, and a mechanic's inspection of both exhaust manifolds. A truck with the cam and lifter failure already waiting inside it is worth significantly less than one with that window closed behind it. The seller does not owe you that information. The inspection does. Ram makes a truck a lot of people are loyal to, and some of that loyalty is earned. The ride, the interior, the towing capability all hold up. But 15 years of official silence on a documented engine failure pattern is not something you should absorb with your wallet. Know what you are driving before the quote arrives. That is the point of this channel. If this found you before the $8,000 conversation, please subscribe.